Wow, Kathy, this new set is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. You know, new year, new set, new you.
Yes, and this time of the year, getting new you to be just right is making those New Year's resolutions.
And you know, sometimes those resolutions don't even make it to the end of February. Hi, Case.
Well, I tell you what, on this edition of Irving Living, we've got experts that are going to come and show us how to be successful in keeping those resolutions.
And we're going to call this show the Irving Living Guide to Doing Everything Better. So let's get started. At the beginning of the year, most people start with that one resolution that's so common.
Oh, yes.
I want to lose some weight, or I want to get in better shape. And with your company, New Wave Fitness, you've got a program that helps people really do that. So tell me about what's involved.
Whenever you're starting a program or a resolution and you're trying to achieve goals, you've got to get clear about your goals and what your objective is. And a lot of folks say, hey, I want to lose weight this year. But you want to figure out how much weight you want to lose. Do I want to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, even 20 pounds? You got to get clear about that objective. And you also want to, find out what else you want to do. If you want to reshape your body, changing, get rid of the gut, get rid of the hips, those areas. But you've got to get clear goals that you can really move towards rather than just general goals. And that's where it starts. You've got to get clear about that objective for you to be successful.
I would imagine you would need to take some measurements to have a baseline. Why would that be important to be successful in the program?
Without a starting point, you can't really, get to point B. We got to know point A before us to get to point B. And you've got to have not just one thing that you're measuring, but multiple things you measure to get a good, really understanding of where your body is. So we do want to measure weight, but we also want to do circumference measurements if we want to change inches on our body. We also want to do strength tests to figure out where our strength is, cardio tests, flexibility tests, and of course body composition tests, because weight loss is a good measurement, but it's really your body composition that's the great measurement, because that will help you identify how much fat you're losing and how much muscle you're gaining or not losing, which we don't want to do. So you have to have that reference point that you can measure.
It sounds like the program is one that focuses on a lot of different areas to help you be successful. Tell me about why your program is comprehensive and what's a part of that.
The reason most people fail is because their program's incomplete from the get-go.
Wow.
They don't have all the components that are necessary for them to be successful. And there's 6 components that we address in our program, and it starts with nutrition. That is the foundation. And a lot of folks, when they start a program, they don't start that first because they all exercise, but that's backwards. Because if you don't put the right nutrients in your body doesn't repair from your workouts. You don't have the energy during the day. You don't recover, consistently. So you have to have the nutrition component right. You've got to be doing the things that keep blood sugar stable, keep energy high, and keep your body burning fat. The second component is making sure we have proper whole food supplementation. You can't get all the nutrients from foods alone. We've got to make sure we have good multivitamin that gets absorbed, that's going to basically give us the micronutrients that we don't get, which will build our immune system. We also need all natural meal replacements that we can plug in between meals or meals on the go. I don't know anybody that can carry around a cooler of a meal all day long. We're busy people. Yeah. So you need to find tools that you can plug in for your mid-mornings and mid-afternoons so that blood sugar doesn't drop, which causes you to crave those.
Yeah, peanuts.
Yeah, there you go.
Big
bag. There you go. Exactly. So we've got to make sure we have those filling in gaps. Supplement a good nutrition plan. And then once you've done that, we've got to make sure we have a strength training program to build metabolism. And that's where you need to start with your exercise program, because 1 pound of muscle burns 50 calories a day. And we've got to make sure we're not losing muscle, which women are losing about 10 pounds of muscle every 10 years, and that starts when you're 25.
Yeah, that's painful.
We've got to get the strength training in place. And then, of course, cardio. Cardio is what's going to build your heart's efficiency. It's going to help you optimize fat burning, and it's going to basically support you in the weight loss process as long as we're doing the strength training. And, of course, flexibility is the next component. we want to feel good. We don't want to hurt, okay? So you've got to improve the range of motion in joints and ligaments. It will also speed up recovery. And then the final component is support structure and some type of accountability. You know, people hire coaches for accountability. They join boot camps for accountability. You know, that's the biggest missing piece, because if it's not something that's natural for you, find ways to be accountable to all those components until it becomes a part of your lifestyle. And that's how you're successful, is making sure all those components in place and stick to it till you hit your goals.
So you get going, you're going well, everything's moving fine. What do you do when you hit that lag?
Well, you've got to make sure that you're reevaluating your progress, because when you reevaluate, you identify your successes, and you want to reward yourself for that, and you identify your challenges. And it motivates you. If you see that you're dropping fat, if you're reshaping your body and you're measuring that, that keeps you focused moving towards your objective, your goals. And it doesn't take a long time for you to be successful. You're going to see strength changes, endurance changes, you know, immediately. You know, the weight loss and the fat loss, you know, that's not going to happen as quickly, but if you stick to all those components, you will achieve your goals if you stick to it. And I've got a few items here that we can use to make it pretty simple to do these exercises.
We know about this one, don't we?
Yes,
the stability ball.
Thanks to Busybody in Louisville, okay. Charlie provided these for us. But an example of a multi-jointed movement would be for us to do set on the ball, for example, and do a shoulder press. And the shoulder press is multi-jointed because you have two pivot points, your shoulder and your elbow.
Okay.
And in this exercise, you're recruiting shoulders, traps, and triceps. 3 muscle groups, 1 movement. So that's why we want to do those type of exercises. So you simply sit on the ball, sit up tall, and then push from your shoulders to isolate those 3 muscle groups. And a lot of times folks, whenever they're starting a program, they're thinking, well, why should I do movements like that? Remember, 1 pound of muscle burns 50 calories a day. Yeah. So if we work all of our muscle groups, what that's going to do is raise our core metabolism.
Ah, okay.
Some other examples would be for us to come in here and do a simple bent over row, which is going to work our back, thighs, and traps, okay? Again, 3 muscle groups, 1 movement, okay?
So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck.
You get a lot of bang for your buck, and as you've established a good foundation of learning how to do those movements, well then we can start doing what we call combo movements. So a combo movement would be for us to do maybe a standing squat into an upright row. So you have 2 multi-jointed movements, 1 exercise.
Wow.
So that's going to be what we call metabolic boosting exercises.
How much time should we carve out for a workout like that?
You should carve out for your strength training, you know, 2 to 3 times a week is ideal. And if you can spend about 45 to 50 minutes, and that includes your warm-up and your cool-down.
Okay.
And then on the days you're not doing strength training, allocate about 30 minutes. So you should be investing about 5% of your time on a weekly basis to exercise.
Okay.
And if anything less than that, then, you know, we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. You got it.
And we want success in the new year.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Joe, a lot of people who want to exercise may not know the great deal they have in the recreation centers here in Irving. Can you talk a little bit about the programs?
Sure. Irving has a wide variety of fitness programs. We have Jazzercise, of course, Zumba, which is the latest fitness craze. We have that going on. We have some programs for the teens. We have teen weight programs where you can actually go in and get instruction to work out. So there's a lot of opportunities for the citizens of Irving to come work out and stay fit.
That's great. And we were talking earlier about things that folks can do at home, but sometimes people want to be in a situation where they're working out with other people around. If they have a workout partner for accountability, that kind of thing. Are there weight rooms? Are there places like that in our rec centers?
We do. We have, each rec center has a weight room. The cost of the weight room is about $200 a year. And that's for an individual, but then we also have family plans which include up to 4 individuals over the age of 18 that live in that household for $300 a year.
Wow.
And that's great. There's no annual fees, no annual contracts or anything of that nature. So, you know, if you can join up, and if you feel like it's something you don't want to do, you don't have to worry about it being drafted out of your checking account or anything like that. Yeah. We have up-to-date equipment, clean facilities, showers, And it's just a really great environment to go work out.
Yeah, that is really neat. And you're not going to find a gym membership that cheap. Sorry, it's just not going to happen.
You're not. and you're not going to find the staff that's going to be as helpful as the staff you're going to find at the rec centers there as well.
What about if you're somebody who really enjoys working out outside? What if you're a runner or you like to skateboard or, you know, that kind of thing?
Our trail system is second to none. This year we just opened up the Sam Houston extension up in the Valley Ranch area. And it's great. You literally 5 seconds on that trail, you forget you're in an urban environment.
Wow.
I mean, it's just that beautiful. There's plenty of room out there to work out. There's also some stationary equipment out there where you can work out. There's push-up stands. There's a manual treadmill out there. I mean, you could just run to the heart's desire out there and enjoy the scenic view. So it's great.
You know, just driving by it, you see how pretty it is, but it's a completely different thing if you're out there on your bike, on your skateboard. I won't ever be on a skateboard, but you know, people like to roller skate or maybe just they like to walk or run.
It is a very busy place. When you go out there, you'll see a variety of people out there running, walking, skating, just enjoying the view while they're getting fit. So I mean, it's a double whammy. It's a great win. You get the environment, and you also get to get fit out there at the same time. So it's a beautiful, beautiful amenity for the city to have.
I'll tell you, one of the things that draws a lot of people out there too, and you know this better than I do, is you guys also sponsor some events out there, like the Bio Blitz and things like that.
Great events out there. We have the Bio Blitz, we have the night hikes, we have the urban nature encounters out there. Very popular events, especially the night hikes. The night hikes are great. You get to go out and see animals in their natural environment, and the kids really get a thrill out there walking along the trails, and it gets them outside, which is something a lot of the kids don't get to do.
Yeah.
So this is a great place to have those types of programs and expose them to nature, and it's just a great added amenity.
And if we want more information about any of the things that you've talked about, whether it's the weight rooms, recreation centers, classes, trails, what do we do?
Basically, you can go to the city website, or you can contact the Parks and Recreation Department, and they can direct you where you need to go to get you in contact with the people that you need to speak with, and we're there ready to help you.
All right, fantastic. Great service.
Thank you.
What are some ways that I can make some changes without putting too much stress into my life?
You know, it's a great question because it's a common frame that we all, walk through. Stress is inevitable, and I think an attitude of awareness about that is half the battle. We know that schedules are going to change, deadlines are going to come, bills are going to come, stress is going to happen. So being prepared for that really is taking care of yourself. So having outlets for stress that are healthy, exercise, all the good things we know to do for our bodies, approaching it with flexibility, keeping an attitude of, I know this is going to happen, I'm going to roll with it with grace, and know that all is going to be well tomorrow, even though for the moment it might feel very, very tense.
Change is always so hard, and I know that when I'm even talking to my kids about change, they're taking a big test or something, I try to give them some tools just to keep in their back pocket of ways that they can manage it when they start to feel tense and scared and nervous. Do you have any suggestions on maybe some good tips to remember as the year comes and we get tense and nervous about bills or tests that are coming our way? Or
what a great mom. That's a super question for kiddos or for ourselves. One of the best things you can do when you're under stress is to remember to breathe. Seems like a silly thing to say because we breathe without thought, but to breathe mindfully can really help reduce a lot of the physical symptoms of stress. Our heart rate increases when we're stressed. You might have fluttering in your eyes, and your blood pressure elevates, and you may not feel that. So ways to calm that really are to take very deep, more deep than a normal breath. So if you inhale through the nose over about 4 seconds and exhale over 4 or longer seconds, very, very mindfully for that time frame, tends to calm the heart rate, gets more oxygen to your brain so you think clearly rather than reaction type thoughts. So that's one of the best strategies. And then also just to take a moment, whether it's breathing or just to close your eyes, to gather your thoughts, to give yourself a positive, I can do this mantra to conquer whatever's ahead.
So just giving yourself a good pep talk and taking some time for some deep breaths and just relax for a minute.
Yes, when we often don't give ourselves that moment. We feel responsible and we run into the stressful moment without taking a second to say, okay, how am I going to approach this?
Well, those are wonderful, wonderful tips. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and I know that I'll be able to use those as I head into this new year.
I believe they'll help you.
Thank you, Renee.
Marilee, as a time management expert with Bow Tie, I know you've got some great tips and ideas for us on how to put that component in place as we try to make changes in our lives, managing time. Tell us a little bit about what you do with Bow Tie.
Yes, and thank you for having me, Kathy. We've been in business for over 25 years, and we work with corporations not just locally and nationally, but internationally as well. And time management is always at the top of the list that someone wants to know more about. They're looking for the latest gizmo or gadget or technique that has yet to be discovered. And we're here to suggest they've all been discovered. It's how we look at time. Typically, we look at time as either our friend or our enemy.
I have a feeling about where I fall on that side of the line. But give me some examples. What do you mean by that, friend or enemy?
Well, what we suggest is that so you better understand if time is your friend or your enemy, step back in time and think about the first time that you had a concept about time. Where was that? How old were you? What did time mean? For me, I grew up on a dairy farm, so time for me is about planning. It's about planning and doing certain things at certain times. So I had to internalize and understand that what makes me feel most in control, which is what time management is all about, is when I can calendarize everything as far into the future as I possibly can. And then I feel in control.
That makes sense when you think about someone who grew up in an environment like that, where if you don't plan, things don't get done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would love an example of what it's like when someone thinks that time is a foe, because I think that I'm that person.
Oftentimes the faux part is that, you know what, I just need to manufacture more time for myself. And that often looks like going in the office earlier, or staying later, or working through lunch. And all of those activities cause us to sub-optimize our work.
Okay, that's a great framework for me to be thinking about that in, because I'm afraid that I do that. For me, it's always stay later, stay later, stay later. So if I'm wanting to make a change in the way I handle time this year, do you have a suggestion for a good way to do that?
Absolutely. And this works really well in the workplace. We would suggest that you consider some A space. A space is what I would call sacred holy space on my desk, that nothing gets put there except what I'm working on at that point in time. Otherwise, there's nothing there. There's no clutter, there are no vacation photos or a stapler or a paperweight or anything like that. It is sacred space, much like this picture, that is only used when I'm working on a project, and quite frankly, I'm usually against a deadline. So that allows me to know I'm working on this, there's a time frame, and when I'm through, I fold all that work up and I put it away so that there's nothing in that space when I'm not working on a project.
I love the idea of thinking about time and space related to each other, and I think that that's probably the thing that helps this technique really help people. I'm going to give this one a shot.
Good. Let me know how it works.
I will. Thank you so much, Marilee. What great ideas, and thanks so much for helping us figure out our relationship to time.
Thanks for having me.
I know that in the past, spring break camps have been offered. Are you going to offer those again this year?
Yes, that's a mainstay program. That's one of the fundamental things, that services that we offer. And from March 12th to the 16th, all of the rec centers will be offering a spring break camp this year.
That is wonderful. And I know that you always plan great activities. What ages of kids can enroll in that camp?
Spring break camp ages are from ages 6 to 12 years old. And the camp runs from 7:30 in the morning to 6 p.m.
And what types of activities do they get to participate in?
Well, we try to mix it up. We want a wide range of activities. There's a lot of arts and crafts activities for the kids to get involved in. We do a lot of gym games and gym activities. We do some movies, but the big things are the field trips. Kids love to go on the field trips, and in this area we're fortunate enough that there's a lot of variety for the kids to go on. So we'll do things like, we may do like a Legoland field trip. We'll go to the movie theaters and do some field trips. We go to Amazing Jake's and places like that, and then the kids just have a blast.
They love it. Well, I know also that with spring break approaching, before we know it, people are going to want to be all set for their kids to be enrolled in that camp. When can they start signing up for this camp?
I would start around late February, start looking for publications, start coming through the schools, and also you check the websites.
The City of Irving website?
City of Irving website, or call the Parks and Recreation Department, and at that time, and act quickly, because these camps do fill up very fast.
Yes, they do, and I know it's so great because it's also cost effective, and it's a safe, fun environment for them to leave their kids while they're working and doing what they need to during the week when school's out for spring break.
And it is, and it's $100 for the week up there at Cimarron, and then at the other locations it's $95. But one of the things is the quality of the employees that you get and the quality of service that we provide for that price. You're leaving your children in our hands, and your children are priceless. So when you look at the requirements for our staffing, and then the quality that the employees that we have, and the emphasis that we put on safety, it's a bargain.
Oh yes, and such a blessing for the citizens of Irving to have that resource.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pat, throughout this show, we've been talking about great changes that we can make to help improve our fitness, to improve the way our homes are organized, and how to handle time. But the missing component is, once we make that change, how do we make it stick? As a change coach, why do you think it is that that's so difficult for us?
I think one of the reasons, Kathy, is that we don't put the amount of time into planning our changes. We have to see ourselves as investors that are going to invest a lot of time and energy and possibly money into this change. So like a good investor, you really need to think about, is this change really critical to me, and what will the results be, and will it be worth the time, effort, and money I'm going to put into it?
Wow, that's a great framework, because if you think about it in terms of an investment, you begin to think about it with a little bit more seriousness, I think.
That's right.
So what do you recommend in terms of making a change? Is it best to approach this thing by just jumping in cold turkey?
Actually, it depends on the individual. Some individuals love the idea of saying, tomorrow is it, I'm going to be completely different. However, for the rest of us, it's better if we break them down into small behaviors. Let's say at work we want to be better team players. We might say, I'm going to go into one meeting for 1 hour and not cut anybody off, and let them finish their sentences.
Guilty. That is absolutely. So it's the incremental change you're suggesting is the thing that's going to help you be more successful long term?
That's right. And you need to celebrate those incremental changes as well, so that you look at them, you say you're going to do them, and I succeeded.
What about accountability? Do you want to have somebody that you go to and say, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. I want to be accountable to you to make it happen?
Well, it would be nice if we could find wonderful accountability partners, but it's tough because everyone doesn't have the same agenda that we have. And in the end, we're really the people that must be accountable for our own individual behaviors. If you're lucky enough to find somebody, go for it. But for the most part, I'd leave that up to professionals and perhaps someone that you truly trust.
Okay, so maybe a coach, not a friend.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gone to my friends to say, let's lose weight and then we go get dessert. So
exactly.
Maybe not a great idea.
Exactly.
I want to ask you a question in this way. I am kind of a gadget girl, and so I've seen lots of wonderful things out there that I can use to track my calories, or whatever the thing is that you're trying to do. What do you recommend in terms of that kind of thing? Do I want to get a book? Do I want to write it down? Do I want to use a gadget?
I think it's all of the above. Books are still wonderful. If you're a book reader, even if you have a read-aloud book in your car, there's always someone like Daniel Goleman who's been around for 20 years, and you can talk about, how do you make changes? What are the things that are important? And if you're a gadget girl, then get your teenager to help you with various apps, such as a recent one called Fuducate, and you can take it to the grocery store with you, and it will tell you what is an A, B, or C choice that you have to make.
Well, and you just scan it with your scanner.
That's right.
I love gadgets, I really do.
Good.
But ultimately, it is, as you said, it's incremental change, and it's being accountable to yourself. What else is involved in making change stick? What would you say is the critical element of making change stick?
I think the real critical element is making sure that that change is visible to you and that you see it on a dream board, on a storyboard, and you look at that and say, I want to be that. It's worth the energy that I'm putting into it every single day.
Wow, great advice. I love that investor tip. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Fran.
Hi.
I know that many people right now are wanting to start out the new year by cleaning out and getting organized and just making their homes look better for 2012. What are some green ways that we can use good cleaners and be green about our cleaning and organizing?
Well, I like to talk about things that people can use that they can easily find around their house. And so the ingredients that we're using today, and we're going to talk basically about 4 cleaning types, are derived from things you could easily find around your house. So we're in a kitchen type of setting, and the thing I like to do when I'm in a kitchen is always wear an apron. So we're wearing our aprons,
yes,
right? Okay.
We're prepared.
And then we have basic kitchen tools. We'll have a measuring cup, measuring spoons, those kinds of things. We have bowls. So the very first thing we're going to do is probably the easiest cleaner to put together, and that is a window cleaner. All right, and that requires 2 ingredients, water and vinegar. So first thing we're going to do is, this is a 1-to-1, so we're going to measure a 1/2 cup of water, and then we're going to put this into a spray bottle. Okay, because of course our window cleaners are in spray bottle.
Yes.
And then we're going to measure a 1/2 cup of vinegar.
Okay, so 1/2 cup water.
That's right.
1/2 cup vinegar.
That's right. It can be a 1 cup, 1 cup, 2 to 2, or 2 cup, 2 cup. It's just a 1-to-1 measurement. All right. Now you'll notice that my spritzer here is a smaller spritzer, so that I can refill it numerous times and not have to toss anything away. Now this is something that will last and last and last and last. It does not have a shelf life. I always recommend people mark their bottles when they fill them up or when they mix them.
Okay.
So I'm marking the date here, and then I'm going to shake it, and we're ready to rock and roll with our cleaner. Now I'm using the paper also to clean my glass. That's right.
A great resource for cleaning out that box of old newspapers that you haven't put in the recycling bin yet.
And using that can ultimately cause a streak-free effect. No streaking on your glass.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Looks beautiful.
Okay. The next cleaner we're going to move on to very quickly is going to be a tub and tile cleaner. Tub and tile cleaner is very simple. You're going to take baking soda. Here's the box. Baking soda, basic in your pantry. You're going to add some liquid washing, just like washing your dishes. That's right. You're going to mix that until you form a paste. And once it forms a paste, then you're going to use your sponge or rag and easily clean your tub and tiles. It's the grit from the baking soda that helps to clean the tub and tiles.
Makes it abrasive.
That's right. Now, you can also use the baking soda for a deodorizer. Use that in the floors. You can use that around the house. Sprinkle them on the floors. Vacuum them up. Let's move along to the furniture polish. Furniture polish, very easy. We're going to mix a 2-to-1 on this one. Okay. So we're going to use a 1/4 of a cup of my lemon juice, and I can use this, or I can use fresh squeeze, and I'm using an oil. We're mixing that into a spray bottle.
So any type of oil that we have around our house in the pantry.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. We're going to spray this on our wood. We're going to use our rag, and we're going to easily dust that. Preferably spray it onto your rag on your rag here.
And that really cleans well. And
it
it's
really
just
does.
Oil
Absolutely.
and lemon juice.
So there you have it. We have 3, and there are other things that you can use. There's a World Wide Web out there. I would tell people, and you, go to the Green Web here in Irving, www.cityofirving.org/begreen, to find out more about these alternatives to household chemicals.
That's wonderful. And not only is it good for the environment, but I'm thinking you can buy this stuff so inexpensively. So
totally.
As we get off Christmas and start the new year paying our bills, this is a great way to save money.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Fran.
You're welcome.
Well, Kathy, I sure have learned a lot today on our show, from good fitness tips to cleaning green.
We had so many great tips, so we want to thank our experts for spending time with us today to give us some advice and tips on how to make things better in 2012. Their information is listed here if you'd like to get in touch with them yourselves by phone or by the web.
Hope you learned as much as we did today.
And that you'll use these tips to make some positive change in your life in 2012. We'll see you next time on another Irving Living. Bye-bye.